Cording.
Three cording.
Three cording.
Recording. Cola.
Tree cording.
Maybe it should be 1, 2, 3 cording.
Cola.
Maybe you should be 1, 2, 3.
Maybe
cording.
I should.
All right. Well,
Maybe
on that
you should.
genius of a conversation, I'm gonna go use the
How
bathroom.
dare you?
The new movie
right.
torrent website, 123 cording.
That'd be a good website name. Why do you have the jib hat,
Boom.
Bosh?
Sorry?
You're wearing the jib hat.
You could just wear
You
it.
could just wear it.
You said jeb hat. I thought you said jetpack.
Why are you wearing a
Yeah, why are
jetpack?
you wearing a jetpack?
Why you wear the jetpack, Wash? I was like, what?
Isn't it weird to wear that like indoors? Aren't you worried it might go off?
You never know. I might spontaneously cast magic missile.
True. No, that's his propellant.
If anyone is liable to spontaneously
That's the
cast
propellant
magic
for the
missile.
jetpack. You just cast magic missile from it.
It's like rocket jump.
Yeah.
It's magic missile down.
Yeah.
No.
I am missing something.
Oh no. Can we help you find it?
I will get it. No, I think I already have it. I just need to remember which one is which.
Yo, isopropyl alcohol stinks.
Is that what that
I think it's this one.
bucket of liquid is?
That is isopropyl alcohol. 90%.
I was wrong. It's the other one.
It's for your
Right,
resin
Cleo?
printer, right?
Wash has a bucket of liquid. Because he's cleaning his 3D parts.
Don't talk about another
Wow.
one's 3D parts.
This is calling me out on stream like, oh, we're doing video now. Dang it.
What, Cleo? Yeah, Wash is cleaning his 3D printed parts in isopropyl alcohol, which is in a bucket.
Which is inappropriate.
Yeah,
On
you're
stream.
inappropriate.
I don't know, because it's funnier the other way.
Y'all don't have an only parts account?
That's called Bricklink.
Bricklink.
Yeah, Lego has like a resale site where you can upload individual Lego pieces for people to buy.
Oh, really? I had no
Yeah.
idea. I actually live under a rock.
I don't think that's very common knowledge, so.
Congratulations.
The rock's right up there that I live underneath of. At the angle that I'm sitting, if I spin my chair, I get those anime flashes on my glasses.
Nice.
Nami?
You gotta like tilt them
dare you?
up.
Like this?
No, like
do you mean?
in the anime where they like push them and then they glow.
Let me see if I can find the spot.
Forget your astrological symbols. Let me know how you push your glasses up.
True.
What finger?
Forget your ass.
What?
I don't know how I put your
What,
glasses up. I'm still warming up, guys.
Don't worry, we recorded that.
It's a good thing we already started recording. I just want that as a Discord sound. It's just Jake saying your ass. With a really deep southern accent.
That's what happens when I have a fruit roll up in my
What is
mouth,
the
apparently.
Fruit roll up makes you speak Southern.
What does your hat
no,
say?
that's- The
Jake's?
cat's out of the bag, guys. That's how I do Jeb's voice.
It's a... Yeah, it says Jake's Cigars and
I
Spirits.
didn't know you had a
It's
cigar and spirit
It's a bar
shop.
that's... Yeah, there's a bar downtown called Jake's. It's a cigar bar.
It's also
It's
yours,
great.
right?
It's also mine. I own it. I founded it.
Do you know the Jake that
I went
does
looking
own it?
for it and I found it.
No, I don't know the Jake that does own it. I know a couple of the bartenders though, because they're nice and
Do they know
They're
the
cool,
Jake
but-
the owner?
I don't know. I've never asked specifically
I
about
own
Jake the
that.
owner or Jake who it's
I mean, we
who
need
it's
this
named
thrilling saga
after. I agree.
in our lives.
You're a thrilling saga.
Thanks.
Everybody have their candle lit for the
No.
evening?
Or can-
No, not yet. I haven't gotten
This
around to
candle
it
is
yet.
orange dreamsicle, and it's amazing.
Ooh.
Should I light a
Well, in
candle?
that case,
You don't
I'll light
have to.
mine.
We're going live in negative 20 seconds.
I'll
What,
light my
Cleo?
peach blossom candle.
That's up to you.
Oh, I forgot to do the go live notification, so we actually have a little bit yet while I do that.
Everyone grab your waters.
Grab your traveling buddy. Your waters.
You're a Diet Dr. Pepper?
Diet Doc. The Diet Doc.
The DDP? Sprinkle some diatomaceous earth on your tomato plants.
You're made of plants.
Man, I sure hope not.
I've heard diatomaceous earth is good to fight against bed bugs.
It is.
It's good a lot against a lot of insects. With ants, it kind of like kills them with dehydration, but also it messes up their path finding.
It punctures their exoskeleton and makes them weep to death.
The big oof. It's
I
like
used to
barbed
work in
wire
a-
for insects.
I used to work in a feed and seed store, and we used to sell a lot of DE.
My mom just is not about bombing our house with chemicals. So she found the alternative.
So instead of instantly killing them with chemicals, you give them the slow death.
Yeah. It's more
The
convenient
slowest death
for
that
us.
ever was.
That's one of my little golden books on my kids' bookshelf, The Slowest Death.
Nice.
Got a little bug and it's a bag of diatomaceous earth.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Made out of 100% real crushed diatoms.
Yo.
Wow.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Ancient little buggers.
Wow. All right.
I'm ready
all
for you
right.
guys to start flexing so I can stop over here.
Yeah. I don't know how we're gonna keep up with this.
However will you?
So,
Probably we won't.
I guess I'll just give up, I guess.
yeah.
Ooh,
I got my candle lit.
stinks. Hey, babe.
Oh, I gotta light my candle. You won't be able
Honestly,
to
I
see
should
it.
probably light a candle with this isopropyl smell in here.
This light's gonna be... The light around me is too bright to see the candle. But
The
I'll...
light around me is too bright.
What does diatomaceous mean?
Candle. What is what?
In diatomaceous earth.
It's what it's made out of. It's made out of a bunch of little dead buggers. Thousands, fossils, I think. If I remember correctly. Isn't it just fossils?
You're just a fossil.
Josh, you're not going to be happy with me.
Why?
I just now realized that I did not turn my headphones on, or am wearing my headphones, so that always like jacks up with my Discord. So let's see if we get lucky.
Okay.
Diatom is any member of a large group comprising several genera of algae, specifically microalgae found in the oceans, waterways, and soils of the world.
Right.
I did not go live yet, Wash, so I'm waiting to find out.
So
if
it's a
it
bunch
ruins
of
everything.
fossilized little buggers.
Yeah, and diatomaceous just means containing or related to diatoms.
Am I a robot?
Say it again.
I can't hear you. Okay.
Okay, you are in your headset
see.
mic. If you can hear that. But you said you can't, so I bet you can't.
Am
Quite
I
the
a
conundrum.
robot? Am I
Hey,
okay?
buddy.
Am I okay?
Hey, buddy.
Hey?
You're okay here. Check OBS.
Testing 1, 2, thrizzle on the foamanizzle.
Yeah?
I
you
mean,
go.
it looks okay. I can't play it back to test and see if it's recording okay.
I mean, if the
that's-
audio levels are moving.
That shouldn't be corrupted or anything because it's like it's pulling directly from the device. Like it doesn't use my system settings. And my system, what
Okay.
happens is that when I hook up my headphones, it's like, hey, he's wearing headphones that are Apple approved. We're gonna make the sound go into the ears, and then we're gonna also use the mic. So
Got
What
it.
is that an
it does
impression
that sort
of?
of tomfoolery. Mac OS.
Foolery.
Oh, okay. If
First
Mac
name
OS
Tom,
had a
last name
voice.
Foolery.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to go
Okay.
live.
Instead of
Doing
the
it. I can't be stopped.
I mean, no one's trying to stop you.
instead of the hello
You
on the
can't
Mac.
stop the beat.
Stop him.
I'm a Mac.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a Macintosh computer.
And I'm better.
I'm a
Like
Mac.
that.
And I'm a PP.
Whoa.
Interesting.
Would you just finish reading the Wikipedia article for diatoms?
Yeah. It was quite
I
interesting.
dig it. Yeah.
You're a diatom.
I mean,
Sometimes.
I guess.
Eventually, everybody is diatoms.
True.
That's true. You
Die
you got 'em.
atoms.
Diet, Tom.
There's so many things that it could
Tom,
be.
you've been picking up weight. Oh, Willa in the chat learned today that moles are good swimmers.
That is interesting. I didn't know that.
Jeb would disagree.
Not all moles.
His worst moment was in the bottom of an ocean.
That is fair. It doesn't matter how competent he would be at swimming. He may not be good with swimming. When their tunnels flood, they just swim out, chat says.
That's what I do when my tunnels flood.
So we got about 4 minutes before we get into the material here, but I figured we'd just hang out with our faces because I don't have any art for the new arc.
I mean, this
yet.
is a cool screen.
Art place.
Arctic
I
world
like
is a
this.
flood.
So I was trying to make that bunker under Gaim where Larodith is hiding out. With generative AI, and this is what I landed on. I had two options, and Willa helped me narrow down which one was better. Also, you can just see in the background behind me, there's a little Lupin. Right here.
Lupin.
Oh, I was looking at
back
the
here
image. I was like,
judging
you
your
AI'd
decisions.
a Lupin into the image?
I did.
awesome.
I AI'd a Lupin.
You looped him
right
in?
here behind my chair. Yep. Just
Are we
looped
in
him in.
Looper now?
Nice.
I didn't realize we had our faces on stream. So when you're like, yeah, just streaming our faces right now, I'm over here just like,
Sometimes
like, oh yeah, I'm on camera. Hey everybody,
I'm not tired.
I'm not tired. I'm excited.
Tonight
Yeah.
I'll be
Sleep.
playing a hematician named
course.
Dwayne.
Whoa.
Nice.
The Rock.
I thought you'd be playing Radford
I
tonight,
am.
but
I
we'll
just wanted to
see.
make the joke.
We'll get to all that. All those good shenanigans.
You didn't guess
We'll
and.
see. Roll to see if Radford is dead too.
We're coming fresh off of Zoth's death. We got to get back into that headspace.
Oh,
I know.
are we doing the thing tonight?
No, we're not. In the
Aw.
interest of time, we're not gonna have enough time
What
for
thing?
it.
You're teasing me so much.
I'm not teasing you.
Every time you tease.
What thing are we
I don't see why
doing?
we couldn't.
So you know what? Maybe we let chat and the people decide.
No, there are too tight of a time constraints. I got to get on a plane at 4 in the morning, so I really have to keep this to 2 hours.
Well, maybe if we end early, then maybe we can do it at the
Yeah,
end.
if we end early, I could be persuaded.
I don't know. I just scheduled a DoorDash for right after the stream is supposed to end. So
There is a
don't
really
know.
cool rod attunement today.
Man, I'm
I'm very excited to see Aulen attempt to attune to the rod of intelligence. We will also
attempt.
attempt to the rod of intelligence. That's what I want to
With
see.
Sure.
super advantage on every.
I don't know about all that. You'll notice, chat, that the chat rewards are disabled because we aren't, obviously we're not using oceans, but the other ones are not really relevant. Like triggering a weather event and stuff like that doesn't really have anything to do with the rod. And I feel like
There's a
we should
lightning
let this be
storm in
a
your
vanilla run
mind.
so that we as the players can remember how to just play vanilla 5th edition.
It'll
could
trigger
be-
whether or not we watch the video, and it's like off on, so it's like a combat thing.
It could be raining during Zoth's
that's
funeral,
an
so
option.
the tears of Zoth.
No, it doesn't rain during Zoth's funeral.
Lost like Zoth in the
Because
rain.
he has a funeral pyre under the open stars. It's very emotional. and
That
moving.
is very emotional and moving. I like your
One of
idea
the
better.
options of all options.
The other thing we're going to do tonight is we're going to meet your chat. You can't control the shoulder angels, but if you give advice, you can be another shoulder angel. That's fine with me. You can just be a random shoulder angel there. You can be a little
I could
will-o-wisp.
be your shoulder angel, baby.
The other
no.
thing we'll do is we'll talk about the next arc with Aulen, and we'll meet the potential new characters because Aulen and Radford are returning for this next little mini arc, but we don't know who will be accompanying them. And Aulen is actually going to be interviewing prospective adventurers to determine who's going to fill out his team. So we have a couple of different options from each of our players. However, in case they totally spent all the time they needed preparing and don't need any more information, I still have some information for you, chat, that I'm sure the players don't need. But about the arc, basically, like session 0 stuff. So I'm going to do that first, so that just in case Cleo and Trevor need to, refresh their characters, they have a chance to do that while Aulen's attuning. Just in case I'm sure they don't, but just in case.
I got all my paperwork.
Let's talk about the mini arc first. So here's the one line thing for what's coming up. Aulen's hiring 3 adventurers. Well, really, Aulen and Radford are hiring 2 adventurers to help save Do Bumblefoot from the abandoned Hemetetian city of Nowood in the dangerous Urada Southlands. The goal, then, is to rescue Do Bumblefoot, the final avatar imprisoned by the Aboleths, and escort her safely to the domain of Thraxenhau, the ice dragon who lives in the west, where the other avatars have been safely hidden away. We know Satonia and Garlel are both there. Larodith is here, like in Gaim, so she can either come with you, or you can pick her up on the way, or you can leave her, whatever you decide to do. Why this arc matters: you need Do Bumblefoot alive to perform the cataclysmic ritual. She has a key piece of the puzzle, and the cataclysmic ritual is the key to destroying the Aboleths once and for all. Excuse me. I have 6 truths prepared for you. These are things your characters should already know about the world, but you as the players might not know. These are things that might influence the characters you make or the decisions you make. First, the Southlands of Urada and the ancient mountains to their east are a sort of adventuring haven full of relics and so-called dungeons from the decaying relics of the old Hemetetian civilization. The Hemetetians abandoned this area in like early Second Era. So there's been like 1,000 and something years of decay and whatnot. 2, the Southlands are the least civilized / colonized part of Urada, and even before the Darkening, they were host to numerous monsters, crazy wizards, and other nightmarish horrors. A bustling adventure guide trade exists in this area from the small villages that surround it, where they help adventuring parties navigate to the dungeons that they seek. Number 3, the Darude, a tree-like variant of the Hemetetians, have a city called No Stone that exists at the upper tree line of the mountains. They are regarded as a reclusive, peaceful race who live in perfect harmony with the world around them, kind of like if Lothlorien and the Ents had a baby. It would be the Darude civilization.
And a little bit of Groot.
Maybe a tiny bit of Groot. Yeah. Just a little bit. Number 4, the climate is harsh all year in the Southlands, and the environment is deadly. No matter what time of year it is, you will not gain the benefits of a long rest unless you take the time to actually construct or seek out a shelter to rest in. A shelter being defined as a structure with a roof and 4 walls to keep out the wind, rain, and wild creatures, and it should be heated. Number 5, Do Bumblefoot is a Wheatling avatar of Zanir, god of order and the stars. Unlike the other avatars, Do never really ventured away from the holy city of Oat, which she purified and protected for about 1,000 years before vanishing in the Darkening. And lastly, Aulen's historical study has turned up a rumor. At the top of Nowood, there is rumored to be a Scale of Stars, an artifact that is an actual piece of Zanir's essence left in the world.
Yeah.
There are some character creation guidelines here, which the players have already seen, and we've actually talked about, I think, last week on stream. But just to run through them really quickly, all classes are on the table. Remember that with magic gone in the Darkening, unless Aulen successfully attunes to the rod, classes with spells can't use spells. Spell-like effects work. Spells do not. They're level 9. Aulen will be level 10, just like Fox was level 10 and his companions were level 9. Terrain you can expect: forest, mountains, and cave-type terrains. It doesn't matter what backstory you come up with for your character. They must have a vested interest in solving the Darkening and genuinely intend to be part of the team. No turncoats. Cleo has a hand up. What's up?
Can you define the difference between spells and spell-like? Like, give an example.
In the player's handbook, if something is called a spell-like effect, then it's a spell-like effect.
Oh, is that?
And if
is
something
it just
is called
straight up
a spell, that's like an actual terminology they use.
Never mind then.
In the player's handbook.
just-
Also, if it is a class feature that is not defined as a spell, then you can use it. So, for example, some classes say things like, you get the ability to cast spell X 3 times a day. It doesn't count against your spell slots. That does not work. Other class features might say something like, you can, commune with animals twice a day or speak with animals twice a day or something like that. That doesn't say it's a spell. That would be a spell-like effect or a class feature, so that would work.
Okay.
Yeah. In short, spell-like effects are things that you can do that mimic the effect of a spell for non-magical reasons.
Right.
Right.
Okay, as level 9 adventurers, you are adventurers of some renown. So in addition to the starting equipment that you would get as creating your character at level 1, you have also accumulated a great deal of wealth and interesting items throughout your travel. You are understood to have been alive before the Darkening 2 years ago. So you may opt for either 3 common minor and 2 uncommon major, or 3 uncommon major magic items. It is understood that with your accumulated wealth, you have gone to the Bright World Company, as is fashionable these days for all collectors of rare magic items to do, and had them retrofit your devices with cipher power. Your wealth allows you access to enough Wingle digits to use these items as described in the source material, with the following limits. You can't do anything that has to do with other planes. There is still no weave. They can no longer function without Wingle digit power. If you're robbed of all your worldly possessions, those things won't work unless you get your money back too. And 3, they are now vulnerable to ciphers of Dispel magic for 1d10 real-world minutes. Think of it like a sort of temporary EMP. So if someone were to use a cipher of Dispel magic near your magic items, you would roll the d10, and that would determine how long it takes for it to begin working again.
Cipher items.
That's right.
Can you?
And lastly,
Can
go
you
ahead.
list off how many of each type we could have again, real quick?
No, but I did DM you a link to everything
okay.
I'm reading. Or not DM, but it's in the chat.
Perfect.
For guys. And lastly, notable house rules. Where you're taking away a house rule that we have sometimes used, sometimes not used regarding crit successes and fails. You no longer need to roll to confirm, and they will no longer be accompanied by the dope narrative benefits. They will simply be combat critical hits or combat fumbles. You can choose to roll again for a coup de grace. This is something they did in 3.5. I took it away, it came back. If you roll a nat 20 and you go for the coup de grace, you can roll again. If you get a second nat 20, you drop the character you're attacking to 0 hit points regardless of how many hit points they have now. But if you fail, you miss. Like, you don't do any damage at all. And long rest. We already talked about this once, but you will not gain the benefit of a long rest in the Southlands unless you take the time to actually construct or seek out a shelter to rest in. If you're indoors in a cave, whatever, that's different. If you are outside exposed to the elements in the mountains or the woods or whatever, then you would be under those conditions. So that's all the Session 0 stuff. That's basically an introduction to the arc that's coming up. Before we get to that arc, we first need to take some time to zoom back in on the dwarvish city-state of Gaim. Gaim, again, is this massive city-state that's been built into a cavern. And the cavern is not the right word. Cavern implies a large cave. This is gigantic. This is several miles by several miles by several miles. The cavern is, I believe, 1,200 or 1,500 feet tall, something like that. We did work out the math, but I don't remember it off the top of my head. But there are 10 tiers of Gaim, and each of those consists of pendants that are these huge structures that are suspended from the ceiling or the tier above them by big steel cables. And those are like city blocks. Like a whole city block is just hanging there. And then they're connected by these great aqueduct-like bridges with these huge arches that go the whole way down to the bottom of Gaim. Down at the bottom of this city-state, there is the royal palace of Gaim, where Caitlin, daughter of Salin, Queen of Gaim, lives, and where Salin herself, Queen of Gaim, lives. And in that palace, there is an underground bunker, a safe room of sorts, where Larodith has been cloistered is the wrong word, but taken for safekeeping and then surrounded with as much knowledge as she could lay hands on. She has 3 years of missed history since she was imprisoned by the Aboleth. Since the Darkening happened, she was imprisoned on the day of the Darkening. Since then, she's had no knowledge of what's going on in the world. So she's been reading up on current events. She's been studying Sacrium and Wingle digits and all those things. She is hungry for knowledge, an avatar of the goddess of trade and innovation. And in that same room today sit Aulen and Radford. Now, you've had other Four Guys Ventures and Vibes duties to attend to, but since the funeral for Zothkug yesterday, no one's really been doing anything. But Aulen has been really forced to confront the fact that, in his own words, Aulen feels responsible for what happened to Zothkug. And now, sitting in front of you on the table, there is a 1 foot long scepter that used to be carried by Jebediah Peppermint. It was part of his blunderbuss. It's been to the Umbral Sea, where it was sent back with Laredith, returned to the group, kept set aside for Jeb when he totally came back. And then after Fox and Aulen sort of went their separate ways, now Aulen is here sitting with the responsibility of feeling what's happened to Zothkug. And so he and Laredith and Radford sit around a table looking towards the scepter. And I don't know, Aulen, take us into your headspace. How's Aulen feeling? You know, is he excited? Is he trying to gather his courage? What's going on?
Well, I just don't see any other way. We don't have anyone here who's attuned to any of the rods that we currently have anymore, and I can't help but feel that if I or someone was attuned to this rod of intelligence, that the process of trying to save Zoth could have gone differently, and that just, it doesn't bode well for the future unless one of us, and I feel personally responsible and I am willing to take on the burden, attunes to this rod.
What's your agitation?
Well, my main hesitation is time. From speaking with Jeb back when he attuned to it, and obviously from the evidence of what we saw, the cost of attuning to this rod is time, something that we don't have as much of as we wish we did in this fight against the aboleths. And so my hesitation is just that if I attempt to attune and either fail in small ways along the way or fail completely, that we will lose too much time.
Is there anything that you could do to prepare a little better?
Well, DM or Wash, did Jeb write about his experience attuning to the rod in the in his journal?
Yes, he wrote down his full experience specifically for Aulen.
Specifically for Aulen,
Okay.
and it was on the back of his letter that he gave you.
Okay. Well, I've been studying this, and Aulen will show the part of the letter that has that, and I think this is the best way I can prepare, and it seems as though Jeb intended for this to happen if things went wrong. So,
Well, don't worry about out here.
it's the best I
Don't
can
worry about
do.
out here. Out here is going to be fine. I'll take care of everything out here.
Okay.
I don't know who else would be a good candidate, except for maybe Laredith. But I don't know how that would work even. But you have my full confidence, boss. And I'll do
Laredith
whatever
straightens her
you
glasses. She looks up from the stack of papers she's been reading, as she's always reading these days. She says, "You must understand that attuning to an item of this magnitude is a very dangerous task. I would not want you to undertake it lightly. The cost of each artifact is specific to the power held within it. When it comes to this artifact, according to your companion Jebediah, the cost is time, the most limited resource for a creature motivated by his or her intelligence. And so you must understand that whatever challenges it faces you with, for each time you fail and begin again that challenge, it will cost you a lot of time. In Jebediah's words, it cost 1 month for every failing.
You got
And
this.
according
Hey,
and
hey, nothing
according
but a thing.
to and according to his words here, to begin, You simply take the scepter in your hands, hold it vertically, and begin focusing on it. She sets her paper down and watches you intently.
Well, in that case, I guess we shouldn't waste any more time. And Aulen will take the rod in his right hand and begin focusing on it.
It feels cool to the touch, but not dangerously so, as you lift the rod of frosted iron into your hand. It's a little bit heavier, denser than you might have expected for a rod of this construction, and specifically for something that's this small. It feels like it's carrying more weight than, just one rod should carry. And as you focus on it, time for you freezes. The world around you sort of vanishes from your awareness. Radford and Laredith watch as Aulen sort of becomes rigid in place, frozen like a statue. And Aulen, you begin your attunement process. You can summon your shoulder angels at any time, as you see fit,
right.
just so you know about it.
Can Jeb's shoulder angel act as him remembering what Jeb wrote to him?
No. The challenge in here won't be anything like your experience with Jeb.
Okay.
So, okay. You feel the tightness of the harness before your vision clears. Leather straps brace your torso, clipped to something above you? A rail? Yes, a track of some kind, allowing you to move throughout the small room without being sucked out of the windows by something. The wind? Why is it so windy? Your vision finally begins focusing, and out of the darkness materializes the creaking wooden frame of a small room, perhaps 20 feet by 20 feet. Along one wall is a chest containing many artificer's tools and a single rudimentary medical kit with bandages, iodine, and a few water skins. Your harness attaching you to the ceiling where an iron crossbeam allows you to navigate the full 20 by 20 space. There are 4 windows, one on each side of the structure, and beyond them you see the sky. You are falling in a small wooden cage of some kind. Beneath each window is another small iron beam with a large decorative fabric banner trailing in the wind, in this case vertically. 4 large metal rivets pierce the wooden ceiling of your cage, implying that something is attached to the top of it. Centered between those rivets is a lever that moves from one end marked with a snowflake to the other end marked with a flame, but the lever is stiff and the runes are not glowing. Leaning out the window, you can see a large mass of canvas connected by 4 thick iron chains to your wooden room ceiling, twisting and tangled. It is dark beyond your walls. You have no concept of height, speed, or trajectory without further study of some sort. You can see clouds whizzing past as they reach into the 60 feet of dark vision that you possess. What do you do?
If Aulen were to, would he have any background knowledge of how the concept of a hot air balloon works?
Probably not. This is probably not
Okay.
something he's seen before. I'm going to add the first die to the tension pool.
Can Aulen further investigate what sort, like the fabric or the things that's being tied up above the cage?
Sure. What kind of skill does he want to use? What's he trying to do here?
He's trying to investigate the purpose of it.
An
like
investigation
what
check
his
on the
function
canvas
is.
above? Sure. Go ahead and roll
Yeah.
investigation.
It's not a good roll. That's a 10.
Okay, Aulen kind of leans out the window as far as he feels safe doing and the harness will allow, and you can see these twisting sort of fabric things. It looks like if it unfurls, it might create a sort of parachute or glider of some kind.
Okay. Can he look at investigate like a way, any sort of mechanism that's designed to unfurl the fabric?
Yeah, sure. He can look around for that. That could be a perception check or an investigation, your call.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. There does not seem to be any tool that exists inside that is built for the purpose of untwisting the fabric above you.
What is connected to so there's a lever that has the frost, like the snow logo and the flame. Can he further investigate what that does?
Yes.
Like what that's connected
Absolutely, yeah. Are you going to use an investigation check again?
Yeah, is that okay?
That's fine.
16.
You're going to be telling me what checks you're using and which skills
it.
you're
Cool.
tapping into.
Great. 16 on the investigation.
16 on the investigation. Okay. Your investigation of the lever. It seems like the lever is maybe doing something magical. You're not sure exactly what the magical purpose is without some further study, but you think that the lever is probably related in some way to what's above you, because obviously it's on the ceiling, and its purpose is magical.
Aulen would like to look at the tools that are available to him, the artificer's tools. What is over there?
It is all manner of artificer's tools, so whatever he might be looking for will be available there.
Okay.
I'm going to roll the next complication die.
Does Aulen have his Eldritch Cannon on him in this dreamscape, in this magical area?
No, Aulen has none of his own materials.
Okay. Aulen would like to...
The wind whips by. I'm adding another tension die.
Aulen would like to take the artificer's tools and see if he can use perhaps Arcana to judge the magical nature of the mechanism again, and with the artificer's tools readily available, his next action after the Arcana check would be to like try to use it to
so let's roll
repair
Arcana.
16.
16. The runes of the snowflake and the fire indicate that the lever is controlling the amount of heat being generated above it. And as he figures that out, Aulen realizes, okay, so above me, the hot air moves up. This must be, and so he kind of intuits how a hot air balloon is meant to work. You also are able to understand that, okay, so this lever is controlling the intensity of a rune opposite the lever on the top of the roof. That rune has been damaged, and that's why we are in free fall. I'm going to roll the next tension die. That's 6, so I'm also going to clear the pool.
Aulen would like to use perception to see if he can find... No, investigation, to see if he can find a way to get up to the top or reach the top to repair the room.
Okay, Aulen would do that, but as he's trying to figure it out, the craft rocks and creaks in the wind, and Aulen actually loses his footing a little bit, giving him disadvantage on his next check. So go ahead and roll your investigation with disadvantage to see if there's a way out and around.
Dang it. The first one was a natural 20, but an 18 is good too.
Okay. With an 18, Aulen is able to see that, yes, you could, the structure is not that tall and the roof is not thick. So Aulen could reasonably climb onto the roof, but he would need to disconnect from his harness, risking falling.
Okay, that's fine. He will do that.
Okay. Next round, so I'm going to roll a tension die. Great. Aulen disconnects from his harness and climbs outside. You notice as you climb onto the roof that it looks like the bulk of the clouds are above you now. You're not sure.
Right,
again, you can't see more than 60
make
feet,
haste.
but yeah. Okay, you are now standing on the roof, and you can see, sure enough, on the ground, or on the roof, I should say, is that rune that has been damaged. There are 2 large scuffs through it, as if maybe some kind of falling debris hit it, or maybe a bird flew into it and kind of scraped it with its talons. And above you, the 4 sort of large cables are twisted together that are making the parachute unwell.
Okay. First, he's going to attempt to untangle the cables.
All right. How?
He's gonna investigate if there's a weak point to it where he can look at the knot or the twist and find a specific point to basically take hold of and untangle
Excellent. Roll that investigation.
15.
15. Aulen is able to successfully intuit the way the knot is kind of forming, and so he's able to find here's the one string where if I pull that piece, the whole thing unfurls, and with a snap, the rate of your fall slows. It's not enough to like if
Okay.
it hits the ground, it's going to be bad. But it is now the wind is holding it open, so you're not too worried
All right.
about it tangling again.
So next he'll use Arcana to repair the rune as much as he
okay.
can, like, which is like attempt to use the artificer's tools to kind of like smooth over the scrapes in it, and then also recarve the rune into
Make
it.
an artificing tools intelligence check.
Okay. I got to do some math. 15, 19.
19. Okay, Aulen is able to repair the rune. You can at this point hear the sound of your fall bouncing off of the mountain to the side of you, or something like that. Like you're
he's
approaching
gonna-
the ground. The whistle is getting
As quickly
louder.
as possible, he's going to get back inside and crank that lever.
I'm going to roll a tension die. Aulen is on his way back inside. The turbulence buffets you off of your feet, costing you around as you catch
No.
yourself, but you're just hanging on for a little while before you can get back in there. So I'm going to roll one more tension die. You can see the ground. You are within 60
crank
feet
the
of the
lever,
ground.
crank the lever.
Aulen's going to throw the lever as hard as he can towards the heat, and I need Wash. I would like you to roll a percentile die. And don't tell me what you got just yet. Okay. Wash, you need below a 20. What did you get? You're muted.
You're muted.
I got 22.
With a bone juddering crunch, you feel the wooden structure smash into the ground. Aulen blacks out for a second, and then when he opens his eyes, you hear the wind whipping by, the craft is falling, and you are again up in the sky.
Okay. First move is going to be grabbing the artificer's tools.
Okay, Aulen grabs the artificer's tools. I'm going to roll the tension die.
Second move is going to the roof of the craft or the cage again.
Great. Aulen's going to climb up to the roof of the craft. You're unclipping yourself to climb up there. I'm going to roll a tension die as you make that climb. Great. You climb up there. That's 3 die in the tension pool. And okay, you're up there now.
It looks. He's going to double check that
Everything
everything
is back
looks
to how
the
it
same.
was the first time. So the
Okay.
straps are all tangled and the rune is damaged.
Okay, he's going to attempt to untangle the straps the same way he did last time with kind of a precise pull.
Okay. Let's roll the same check you did last time then, which was, I believe, an
Investigation.
Investigation. Yep.
23.
Oh yeah, easily able to find the. You've done this once before now. Easily finds the string,
Yep.
pulls it. The thing unfurls. We roll a tension die. Let's see. Ooh, okay. With a loud snapping noise, the rushing wind pulls your untethered harness out the window and flings it away. It seems to have been yanked off of the iron beam. Okay.
Alan's going to
Next round.
shrug and be like, I didn't need it anyway. And then Alan's going to attempt to, once again, use the artificer's tools to smooth over the damage of the rune and redraw the rune.
All right. Artificing tools check with intelligence as the modifying ability.
21.
21. You successfully repair the rune, and we add the 5th die to the tension pool.
And then we're going back into, very carefully without the harness now,
Okay.
back into the cage and then throwing the lever.
Aulen climbs in. That's the 6th die, so I'm going to roll that one and clear the tension pool real quick here. Okay. As Aulen climbs in, one of the boards that he's using to hang on to snaps off the frame and flies away. There's now like a hole in the side of it. Make a strength save to catch hold, or you can use athletics if you feel like you do better.
Natural
at that.
20.
Natural 20, easy peasy.
Pew-pew-pew.
Aulen catches hold and doesn't even lose a round over it. As the wood flies away, you can kind of feel the structure shaking and being unsteady, and the wind is buffeting it, but it does not cost you disadvantage this round.
Okay, Alan's gonna throw the lever.
Throw the lever. Pull the lever, Crunk. You feel
Yep.
the heat, even though it's mostly emanating upwards. Just a little bit of it seems to be coming downwards, as if whoever crafted this realized that at high altitude it's freaking cold. And you feel your shivering skin begins to slowly kind of ease up as the craft begins to slow its descent. Wash, I would like you to roll a percentile die. You need to roll lower than a 90.
That scared me for a moment.
Is it 91?
Well, it said 99, but then I realized it was 66.
Oh, nice. And so, Aulen, you are able to slow the craft down. You're now sitting kind of suspended in space.
Jeb's shoulder angel pops up on Aulen's shoulder. Hey, good job, pup. You really figured that out.
Thank you. According to what you wrote before, sadly, that did cost 1 month. I'm not sure what the next task necessarily is, and Aulen will kind of here. Okay, there's the medical pack. Can Aulen investigate the area around him now, like like whether there seems to be he's looking for an obvious place where he's supposed to guide the craft for the next thing.
Yeah, so you can only see 60 feet, and you're higher than where the ground is in the 60 feet. But maybe there's a different way that you could calculate, the distance to the ground or something like that.
Nature check. He's gonna try to nature check,
Okay.
kind of figure out his
Yep.
bearings.
Go ahead and roll nature.
Okay. 19 plus 7 is 26.
Exceptional. You are able to calculate the distance to the ground. It seems like you're probably about 4 rounds of controlled descent over the ground. And based on the trajectory you were following, it does seem like when the balloon stopped flying of its own accord and began falling, that it was falling towards a point, almost as if it was kind of guided towards a certain spot where it wanted to land, and that point now would be mostly straight down from you. Like, you wouldn't need to generate wind or anything to get
Okay.
where you need to go.
Well, I think now is a time to wait, and Alan will sit at the base of the craft, and he'll summon not just Jeb but his other shoulder angels, if they want to participate, if they're there to be summoned, and just say, well, I'm trying to.
One thing.
Think about-
one thing I always do in these little downtimes is check my pack, take stock of what I have available.
Yes, that is a great idea. And Alan will. He had previously reached for his belt to see whether he had his Eldritch Cannon, but he'll also kind of just check, all of him just to see whether he has any other items, whether they're his previous items or new items for the specific test.
You have none of your inventory, but as you're kind of checking over yourself, you find that you are wearing a plain blue tunic and trousers that are tied with a sort of light rope sash, and they have a set of runes that you don't recognize written along the down one shoulder and down the left, it's like a t-shirt length sleeve, but it kind of goes down that left sleeve, and the sash where it is tied, the knot has the emblem of Zanir on it.
Can he use Arcana to see if he can find, even if it's not runes that he recognizes, see if he can draw some connections to other runes he does recognize to see if he can guess what it is?
Sure.
That's only an 11.
No, Aulen is not really able to decipher the runes that are written on the tunic.
Well, it seems as though I don't have any of my previous items or things with me. But this tunic and belt is quite unique.
With a gentle, you feel the craft set down into almost like a slot, like it clicks into place, and you feel the floor kind of latch, as if it's set down on a pressure plate that was waiting for it or something like that, and these little clamps thud against the outside of the structure. It is still dark out, But now within the 60 feet of your dark vision, you can see that all around you is just sort of grassy plain fading off into the darkness. And in the floor of that grassy plain, there appears to be a trap door with the emblem of Zanir on it.
Aulen would like to go up and investigate the trap door.
Sure, roll some investigation.
16.
16. Aulen does not identify any traps. The door appears to be unlocked, but you see a rune on it that it looks like is designed to prevent materials that are not, basically it has the same symbols that are on your tunic. So it's meant to, only the things with this, insignia or whatever can come through.
Well, I assume that means I'm going the right direction. And Aulen will open the trap door and follow whatever stairs or things are behind it.
You open the trap door and you jump into the dark space beneath and land on a soft dirt floor and find yourself in a hallway. You walk down that hallway about maybe 10, 20 feet and you find an iron door, same emblem, same etchings on the side of it. You swing that door open and you find that you have entered what appears to be some kind of arcane manufacturing space. Rune-carved gears and machinery glow all around you. You see partial humanoid shapes in various states of assembly. Some of the machinery still frozen in the act of production, little arms over tables that might be assembling these constructs or whatever. A large glass panel and console dominate one of the nearby walls. A plain stool sits in front of it. There are 2 nearly completed constructs on the table, each one a rune-carved skeletal frame lit by a pulsing red arcane core. Each is partially coated in a different material, one with a crackling coat of malleable glass and another with dark, dull iron. The bodies are humanoid, but the heads look distinctly ursine. On the far side of the room is a gargantuan waste bin full of half-destroyed constructs. The room's only exit appears to be a faintly shimmering doorway that opens into a chamber filled with green gas. Beyond the gas, you can barely make out another such doorway. The edges of the first doorway are covered in signs that read danger and warning in a variety of languages, including some that you speak. And above the door in common is a sign that reads in bold letters, Extreme Environment Testing Chambers.
Okay, Aulen would like to go to the stool, the workbench or whatever that you described that has the 2 guys,
the assembly line,
half-finished guys over there.
Yeah.
And he would like to roll. He would actually like to roll history to see whether he recognizes any of the elements here, the way that the assembly line functions, or if he even recognizes these constructs have been used for such and such thing, whether they seem familiar at all. He can glean the function from things he knows about constructs and their usage in the past. I don't know if that makes any sense. That's a nat 20.
Dang. Aulen has not seen anything like this before, but he has seen assembly lines before. And It's pretty easy for Aulen to intuit that most assembly lines have a central controlling process or procedure. And in this case, this room, like I said, that one wall is dominated by that sort of console and glass panel and whatnot. It seems like that might be where a lot of the control is coming from.
Okay, in that case, he would like to read the glass panel.
Okay, the glass panel is currently blank.
Oh. He would like to. You said there's runes on the constructs.
On the constructs and on the console, actually.
Oh, then he'd like to use Arcana to decipher the runes on the
Go ahead
console.
and roll your Arcana check.
That's not that great. 14.
A 14 is enough for you to figure out that the runes appear to be a startup sequence. And by pressing them in the right order and manipulating the console, you are able to activate the glass screen, revealing a magical display detailing the construction of golems using up to 5 layers of various materials. Your options are glass, flesh, stone, iron, and crystal. The interface is simple and easy enough that anybody can operate it. Aulen's able to intuit all the different things that it does. It's marked clearly, and most of it is written in common. And the screen also displays live visuals of not just 2 testing chambers, but more than that, each of the testing chambers, and it's clear that a construct can perform simple tasks like open the door at the end of a chamber or pull a lever or whatever, if directed to do so using this interface. Using these sort of, for lack of a better word, camera angles, you can see that beyond the doorway, there are 5 environmental testing chambers for the constructs. The first one appears to be full of like a green mist, like we talked about, a sort of acidic mist. The next room is full of a swirling whirlpool of water. The one after that has these little pipettes coming out of the ceiling that are filling it with continuous gouts of flame. And then following that, there are highly conductive shimmering metal surfaces all over the room, walls, ceiling, floor. And you can see like, little sparks sort of coming off of them. And in the last room, you can see these sort of, it almost looks like necromancy type runes, like the kind of things you would see, written in a circle around a grave or something like that. These are sort of cursed dark runes that seem to be sort of, I don't know, just spooky, big spook.
Okay.
And in that final chamber with the cursed runes, it also looks like there's an emergency shutoff valve that might disable all 5 chambers of their hazards, and a maintenance door that would allow you to continue further into the structure.
So there's 5 rooms and 5 layers that you can do.
Yes.
Okay. So Aulen will summon his shoulder angels, and he will say, it seems as though with these 5 connected rooms and these 5 layers that you can construct these golems of, the test is what order of the layers you should place them in, so that for each room, for each succeeding room, the golem may pass through and survive. I will have to think hard, and I would love your guys' help about which material may correspond to which hazard. So I believe we should start with the innermost layer being the last room. And so what's the hazard in the last room?
The necrotic energy.
In the last rune, it's like spooky, like cursed runes.
Necrotic energy. And then what are the options for layers again?
Your layers are glass, flesh, stone, iron, and crystal.
I don't know, man. When I think of
as far as the necrotic energy room, I would think, like, when I think necrotic energy, flesh is the first thing that I think of. However, I'm not sure whether that would necessarily counteract the necrotic energy, or if the goal is to conduct the necrotic energy. But I would think in that case, unless one of you has a drastically different opinion, that flesh would then be the corresponding innermost layer.
hey, man, necrotic damage kills life, and one of your options is life-ish. So that's just my 4 cents.
So I think you need to determine whether you're going to cancel out the effect of the room with opposites, or whether you're going to survive it.
Hey, man, I think surviving is always the answer.
I would think surviving is also the answer.
So then I think
in
crystal would probably be the opposite of necrotic, kind of like a light magical type thing as opposed to a dark magical thing.
Well, then in that case, let's surmise that our innermost layer will be crystal.
Might be able to rule some of the other ones out with process of elimination too.
Yes, we can. Now, what's the second to last room?
Electricity.
Yeah.
Electricity. Well, what is once again, this goes into the idea of, is the idea to conduct the most electricity or withstand electricity?
Glass is
Because if we're
glass is a good insulator.
Oh yeah.
in that case, then,
Rubber stops electricity, man.
I don't know if what is rubber.
It's a petroleum
Let's go with,
black substance that isolates against electricity. Come on, you know this stuff. This is basic magic.
Well then, let's say glass for that room. We're just spitballing at this
Sure,
moment.
yeah.
What's the next room?
The
inward?
next room inward is flame, and I think probably stone is going to be a good one for that.
What about water?
I would think that there's no water option for layers, so we can't make a water golem in this case.
Have you tried?
I agree. I think Zoth, I feel immense guilt over your death. However, this is not helpful at this moment.
What?
And then the next room inward.
The next room after that, or before that rather, is water.
Well, okay, yes.
Sand.
So
A
the next room
swirling
is
whirlpool
water.
of water. Yeah.
Oh, a swirling whirlpool of water.
A whirlpool going the opposite direction.
I'm not sure what you mean by that, but perhaps flesh. Flesh is the only one of these that I don't think would sink immediately. Like flesh, I associate with like a creature that can swim.
That's
If that
kind of where
makes
my
sense.
mind was going, because I'm operating under the assumption of like the material that can withstand this stuff that's in
Yes,
it. Yeah.
I think that makes sense as well. And then the next room, would that be the first room?
Yeah, the first room's that weird green mist stuff.
And the only other option we have right now is
It's
iron.
yeah.
I would think that anything that's not, if it's like poison gas, for example, I would think that the answer would just be anything that's not flesh would probably be able to make it through.
Unless
okay?
unless it's not poison and it's acid.
Is iron resistant to poison? I would think that it's a fairly, or not poison, acid. I would think that it's a fairly strong.
Well, it depends on which acid
substance.
you're using.
What's the pH level of the acid?
That is something that I don't think we can surmise from this right now.
Do we have a material data safety sheet in this room somewhere? Like we could check on the
Yeah, is this up to
alchemical
OSHA guidelines?
composition. Yeah, I mean you got to have the MDSD sheet for all of the hazards. I mean, okay, so here's another thing too: is that
I'm marking that down.
there's hazards here that they're specifically testing against, right? So maybe they do have some
Yeah, Alan will investigate to see whether there's any written descriptions of what each room's hazard is.
You are able to find, after a little bit of investigation, what looks like the paper. Like at the top of it, you can see the beginning of the heading, but it appears to have gotten affected by like one of the extreme environments and has kind of disintegrated. So you're not
Okay.
able to see what the materials are or what they
Well, we know that it's not
prompted-
poison because you can't poison paper, but you could probably acid paper.
Yes, this is probably correct. Judging prompted by a shoulder angel that doesn't have a voice actor in this case, Alan would like to check whether the door for the water room is underneath the water or above the water or kind of like
They're all straight across.
halfway.
So each room, it's like a sort of a duplicate of the room before it with just a different extreme environment. So you just need to cross the room to the door on the other end.
So if the
So you would need to
So
wade
would
through
it-
the whirlpool of swirling water to
wade
get to
through
the
it.
other side.
Okay.
Wade in the
through it. Cool.
water, children.
Wade in the
Okay,
water.
So we need to get through
Well-
each element. So we need the elements that will help you get through each.
Yes, Zoth. Yes. So Alan would like to go with the order of
That same shoulder angel represented by the chat pops up and goes, I'm thinking iron or stone makes sense for the water room.
I think we're gonna go with this order. We're gonna try crystal, the innermost layer, glass, the one outside that, stone, the one outside that, flesh, the one outside that, and iron, the outermost layer.
Okay. You input the different parameters as necessary, and you watch as the assembly line whirs to life. Materials are pulled out of different like containers and things and brought to the assembly line and sort of coated around the skeleton of the next construct. It takes about 3 minutes for the assembly as you kind of watch the pieces go together, and it is satisfying watching all the machinery do all the work for you, and it's all very precise and repeatable motions. And at the end of it, a small golem stands there. Right now, a golem coated in iron. You see its kind of shiny iron surface there, and you give it controls from the console, so you can tell it, walk here, do that, open that door, etc.
Okay. Well, Alan's going to say walk through the gas to the next door.
All right, the golem moves to the doorway, opens the first door, and steps into the gas room. And just a few seconds after it steps in, you watch as the acidic nature of the gas begins to corrode the iron, and the golem begins to sort of fall, and it falls to the ground disabled.
Well, we can rule out iron for the outermost layer.
Okay.
From the wall next to it, a large sort of scoop comes out and scoops it back into an incinerator hidden on the other side of the room.
That is potentially 2 months.
So, okay. Maybe glass is fairly unreactive.
Or crystal.
Right? Or crystal. But maybe the iron needs to be used for the electricity room. Like something needs to be used for the electricity room.
An iron conductor.
I'm scared.
I agree. I think that perhaps swapping glass or crystal for iron
is unreactive, most likely to electricity.
Crystal's a mineral,
right?
So it's probably gonna melt like the iron would in the green mist. Oh, you're talking about the electricity.
Sorry, yes. Because I'm wondering if iron would be able to go through the necrotic room.
I think that perhaps we swap crystal and glass, and then swap glass and iron. So iron becomes the innermost layer, then crystal, then stone, then flesh, then glass.
Okay.
Is the outermost.
Let's give it a shot.
Let's try that. So Alan will try, as I said, what we just
the
said.
Assembly process completes, and you now look at it's not like pure glass, like it's sort of a rough manufacturing one, so you can't quite see through it to the other layers, but it's got sort of a nice jagged angular glassine structure to it. Its ursine head looks towards you, waiting for instruction.
Cross to the next room.
You set it into the next room. It reaches forward and opens the first door and steps into the green misty acidicness, and walks across that room, gets to the next side, opens the door, and steps into the swirling whirlpool of water. The glass is sort of ripped off the side of it by the swirling water, but then the flesh layer that's underneath of it, the flesh layer sort of begins tearing and disintegrating, and it begins
Oh no, it got
and
pruny.
it sort of is disabled and falls to the ground and is whisked away by the whirlpool before falling through a sort of disposal at the base of the room. A little
well, that is a
trash chute.
very strong whirlpool, and potentially we are at 3 months.
We need to figure out what flesh
But we
goes
got
to.
one down.
We do have one down. What
We
did you
need
say,
to
Zalf?
figure out what flesh goes to.
The only other one that makes sense is
Yes.
necrotic.
To me, I agree.
But I
What
think
about
we need to
electricity?
do stone. Well, iron for water, or maybe stone, something to weigh it down so that stuff doesn't get ripped off.
I think
stone would just when the stone be eroded by water.
it depends. I think that if the stone allows the golem to kind of sink into the water and kind of get below the whirlpool, I don't know if that's how exactly whirlpools work, but I think potentially there's an ability to, then
rivers
climbing
erode
back up
rock
would be
all the
the
time.
difficult part.
I'm reminded of a story of a wonderful little person named Metal Mario that was like this little metal golem that would sink underneath the water and could walk just fine through it.
I think iron.
Then
is
perhaps iron then. And what did we have iron in before?
We had
The swap.
Iron was
swap,
your innermost layer on the last run.
So for the necrotic, perhaps we swap flesh and iron. So flesh is necrotic and iron is water. I think that is another safe
so
bet.
it's glass going through the acid, iron going through the water,
Yep.
stone going through the flame. Like, are we learning anything about these like as we're going on? Like does stone still feel good for the fires?
Yes, I believe it
And
does.
then electricity. Like, do we want iron for electricity? Like, maybe it'll just like.
I think we want flesh for
Okay, here.
electricity.
Hey. So if we look at the camera here, that room with the electricity had like metal panels, and electricity was like going through it, right?
Yes.
And then, like what if the electricity harmlessly passes through the iron, but doesn't
think that is
affect
a good-
the layer underneath it?
But then what will we use for will we use crystal for water then? Because iron is what we surmised would
Yeah,
be a
that's
good
true.
usage for water. I think crystal is still safe.
I mean, stone
For-
would work in the water. Like, it would still be heavy.
there's an argument to be made about I think that is fair. I think, Zoth mentioned the erosion factor. However, erosion happens over thousands and thousands of years, hundreds
I
of
think
years
this
at
is just
least.
simulating how the elements.
I mean, but also keep in mind that while that's true, the same process happens to glass, and the glass was gone pretty quick.
Iron rusts. If we're worried about stone eroding away, then
This is correct.
Then the iron would rust away as well.
In that case, I believe we should
Only
use
if it's
iron
seawater.
for the electricity and stone for the water.
But then does that mean that we're using crystal for the flames?
Yes, we'll try it.
So if we think about flames for a second, like the flames could melt iron, it would toast flesh, but it could probably
Yep.
like stone is pretty hardy, but I mean lava's a thing. Do we have a
then
readout for
crystal.
how hot this fire is? Because maybe crystal is kind of like a harder stone than stone.
I think
I think we should use crystal for it. We don't have a readout because of that sheet
Oh,
that got
damn, that's
disintegrated.
right.
well, I mean,
we should use flesh for electricity, stone for fire.
some crystals are formed under immense pressure and heat.
crystal for
that's true.
necrotic.
Alan is going to input what he discussed, which is now my brain's losing track of all of them. The first one is the same as what we did last
Glass.
time.
Yeah.
Glass. Then stone for water.
Crystal.
Iron for or crystal for fire. Iron for electricity. Flesh for necrotic.
Okay. So glass is the outer layer, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure I got that list
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
right
yeah.
order. So your glass sign golem awaits your instructions. You tell it to go. It opens the door, steps into the
Yep.
green mist, walks through the green mist undamaged. As it steps into the whirlpool, the glass is sort of shattered and ripped away, but the stone is too heavy for the whirlpool to whisk off its
Yeah.
feet and fling down
Let's
the
go.
disposal chute at the other end. And so it heavy steps, water splashing to and fro as it gets to the next door. You have it open that door, and it steps into the room with the continuous gouts of flame. Almost immediately, the stone is heated to like molten levels and drips off the golem.
Good thinking, Alan.
And then the crystal seems to like superheat and then almost shatter, and the entire structural integrity of the golem is compromised as the crystal shattering kind of shards fly into it, and the skeleton pops apart almost.
Oh, no.
And eventually, another little like a little like
Yep.
artificer Roomba comes out and like scoops it up and disposes of it.
Spoke too soon.
That is okay. So crystal does not work
Neither
for the fire.
does
We will
the
still
stone.
do glass and then
So
stone.
does that mean glass has for fire?
Well, yes. So we need the stone for the water. No, glass worked for the
Acid.
It doesn't
for the
mean other
acid.
things
Yeah.
wouldn't.
This is fair.
Iron is the
However,
only
I think
thing
we
that's
should
left.
still try to go with
For the fire.
yes. So then I would say iron for the fire, crystal for the
Iron have a
electricity,
lower
and flesh
voltage point
for
than
the.
stone?
Yeah, see, that doesn't make sense to me. But I mean, if crystal didn't work, then that means our options are iron or flesh. And I don't know if this is like magic fire or something.
What
Like,
about
is it a
glass?
different color? Are these black and white screens?
We could
They're
we
black
could
and
do
white
stone
screens.
for the
Oh, no.
acid. We could do glass for the fire.
If the crystal shattered upon heat shock, I would imagine the glass would too.
That is true.
I think at this point we should go with what we know for the first couple rooms, and then we just swap out what we think makes the most sense. I know that the iron sounds counterintuitive for the flames. However, there's a chance that the iron will stay on as like it will just add enough protection as the construct makes its way across the room, that the crystalline layer won't get shattered by the time it finishes crossing the room. I think it's worth a try.
Maybe instruct the robot to run once it gets into that room.
I think that is fair.
So glass, stone, iron, crystal, flesh.
Yes.
Or I
By
guess
your
flesh on the
powers
inside.
combined.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. The machine begins building this golem. It constructs it. The glass iron feature looks towards you, gets its go, steps through the acid room, no problem. The glass is whisked away by the whirlpool, and the stone golem steps through to the next room where the stone is superheated and becomes molten and melts off of it. It begins running at this point, right? That's what we said.
Yes.
Begins
Yep,
running
through
its
the-
iron form, heating to a redness, but not melting or falling off of it. It rushes through the next door into the highly conductive room, and the iron gets almost like so in its superheated state, it is atomically unstable, and so when the lightning hits it, the iron blasts off of the golem, leaving the crystal layer, and the crystal layer seems to react with the lightning. The lightning arcs through the crystals, and again, the crystals all shatter and fly into the interior of the structure. There's
Had a
some kind of
feeling.
reaction that happens there, and the skeletal creature falls down to the ground.
I think it's counterintuitive.
disappointing to me.
But I think it's going
Yes,
to pass harmlessly through the flesh.
Plenty of people
It's
survive
disappointing
lightning
to me that it
strikes.
is literally taken the maximum amount, not literally taken the maximum amount, but that we have never guessed two right in a row. That is quite disappointing to me.
I-
However, I am confident in that the fact that if we switch the last two, the crystal and the
I
flesh,
mean,
we will
plenty
I
of
think the
people survive
rod-
lightning strikes.
Hey,
Had
the crystal
some
in the flesh is a
questionable-
good book name.
That is a good book name.
You should tell me
and
that
s-
next time you see me.
And so Aulen's final golem, with crystal as its innermost layer and glass as its outermost layer, steps harmlessly through the first three challenges. In the lightning room, you can see that the lightning is conducted through it, but without any musculature to damage. It has no impact on the golem itself.
Okay.
And then as it steps into the final room, the necrotic energy darkens. It's almost like the flesh gets gangrene and like rots off of the outside of the golem. But the crystals have that same reaction with the necrotic energy, as if they're charged with radiant energy, and they counter that deadly necrotic energy, bouncing it back away from the golem, which stands in that room awaiting instruction.
You said there's a deactivate button at the end of the room.
Yes, there's an emergency shutoff valve.
Okay, Alan will instruct him to hit the emergency shutoff, and then Alan will make his way through the rooms to the final door.
Sure enough, the golem is able to shut down the room, and then it just stands there, receiving no more instructions from the console, as Aulen walks through the the now disabled environmental hazard rooms. At the other end, there is a maintenance door that you're able to open to continue further into the structure. You open the maintenance door and you find yourself in what we, the players, would understand as that stereotypical submarine hallway with like the metal grate flooring and the lights with the like grill covers around them hanging from the ceiling, ever burning torches inside of small glass protectors. And on the other end of that, there is a completely out of place mahogany door, like a thick, rich, well detailed with filigree and stuff mahogany door with a boring old doorknob on it, no lock, no anything like that. And as Aulen pushes that open, he finds himself in the library. This octagonal room is lined with floor to ceiling bookshelves, and it is so tall that it feels a bit claustrophobic despite its 60-foot diameter. A well-worn and dusty wooden ladder leans against one wall. Bright shafts of warm sunlight filter down from the ceiling far above, and motes of dust dance in their light. On a table at the center of the room sits a small incense burner, the spiced smell mixing pleasantly with the scent of ancient leather that's all around you. The warm glow dances playfully over a thick coating of dust on the wooden work desk, and the floor is a cool stone.
Yeah, that's a cool stone.
Aulen would let... yes, this place is very cool, actually. Aulen would like to roll history to see if he recognizes any of the books on the shelf.
Okay.
On the shelves.
Great.
23.
There are a great number of books that Aulen is confident not only does he not recognize, but he spent time in the Eos Lore Foundation's tower where the most comprehensive library in the world existed. Many of these books are not from this age of the existence of like material planes. But one thing that you can find is consistently there are a number of books about the different gods and goddesses and things like that. You can also find, historical timelines of different worlds. Basically, this room almost seems to be full of the intelligence that the rod is supposed to be built on top of. And you, so that's what the books are on the walls. This is it's almost like a private library of the gods,
Okay. Aulen would like to roll investigation to find a book about the challenges within the Rod of Intelligence.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
Or about the Rod of Intelligence, at least. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Aulen does find a book about the Rod of Intelligence. And as he flips it open, it's, a thick leather-bound tome. It's got all this stuff written in it. You flip it open, and on the first page, you see the next segment represented all the logistical cunning and judicial acuity of the kings of 72 past eons. Zanir formed it into a scepter of frosted iron that could enlighten its bearer with the intelligence of the ancients, if the bearer possessed the capacity to understand all that was held within. And then underneath, it says, do you think we would let you cheat on this test? And then all the other pages are blank.
Does Aulen have a writing utensil?
I don't know. There's there's a desk
is there a quill anywhere?
There's a desk at the middle of the room, that big old dusty desk.
Aulen would like to see if there's a quill on the desk.
Okay.
With ink.
You look on the desk. There is not a quill, but as you're looking at the desk trying to find one, you see that under the dust, it looks like there might be some glyphs carved into the table there.
Aulen will just say out loud, this is not cheating. This is simply using the resources around me. And then Aulen will use Arcana to look at the glyphs on the desk.
Great.
Oh, that's his worst roll all night. That's a 6.
I'm going to roll a tension die. You will be allowed to repeat that check.
Okay. Much better. That is an 18.
Okay. The 18, you recognize conjuration magic coming from the 5 runes that are on the table.
Okay, conjuration magic. Can he investigate to see if there's any damage to the runes or whether they're currently in effect or
There's no
like
damage to them, and they are currently in effect. It seems like if you could decipher the symbolism of the runes, then you might be able to figure out more about what they do or how they're working. But with your arcane knowledge, your arcana, you were able to figure out these are conjuration magic.
Okay, in this case, he'll use history.
Okay.
To see if there's anything that connects to anything he has prior knowledge of.
Absolutely.
Or anything like that. 14.
14. There are 5 runes on the table, and as you kind of look at them, you sort of put together the pieces. They're associated with the 5 gods.
They're associated with the 5 gods. Aulen would like to find one book on each god, on each of the 5 gods from the bookshelves.
Okay. How would he like to do that?
Because you have to... from his check earlier, was he able to find any way that these shelves are organized?
It didn't seem like the shelves were organized in any particular way. This seems like a personal library where someone just like is putting books when they're storing them, you know?
Okay.
So it'd probably take some investigating to find what you're looking for.
Okay, then he'll investigate to find.
Don't they have one of those Doobie Decimal System things around here for cataloging stuff?
If it was my personal library, I would do something like that. However, I just rolled a natural 1.
As Aulen is searching through the books, it almost feels like when you're not looking, the library shelves behind you are rearranging themselves.
I was going to say,
eventually,
is Aulen caught up in actually organizing the books that are like out of place as he's looking through them?
That's actually even funnier as a way to...
funnier.
You find them eventually, it just takes a long time. That's what the natural 1 is giving you, is it's taking ages. But I way prefer Wash's explanation that like Aulen gets caught up, like he's going to organize them as he goes, because he's like, well, the right ones will turn up if I'm organizing all the books.
Yeah.
I'll clean my room to find it. And so he organizes this library, and eventually you do find one book about each god.
Okay. He would like to arrange them on the desk with their corresponding runes.
You arrange them on the desk with their corresponding runes, and after a brief moment where you think nothing has happened, you realize that all of the dust motes that were falling, kind of dancing around in the shafts of sunlight, they've all frozen in place. And as you maybe reach out your hand a little bit to kind of poke one, you see that they are very, very slowly coalescing towards the center of the room, until when they finish coalescing at the center of the room, they have created a small key. It's just floating, suspended there in the middle of the room.
Aulen would like to investigate the room for a keyhole.
Okay.
24.
24. You cannot find a keyhole anywhere in the room, despite the fact that you look very thoroughly.
Okay, well then in that case, Aulen will grab the key and see what happens.
Aulen grabs the key. Radford and I guess it's just Radford and Laredith who are there. Radford, it has been 6 months.
It was the Golem challenge. The Golem challenge screwed it.
It's been 6 months since Aulen picked up that rod, closed his eyes, and froze in place. And when he finally opens his eyes, sitting there on the other side of the table, he has sort of a confused, disoriented look on his face. Aulen, you realize the scepter still in your right hand, that clutched tightly in your left hand now is a key. And you can feel in your right hand the rod is almost pulsing, like it's waiting for something.
Aulen will investigate the rod for a keyhole.
He doesn't even need to investigate. As you look at the top of the rod, you see the little section where it would connect to the next segment of the rod of 7 parts. On the side of that, there is a keyhole. And so Aulen is able to stick the key in and turn it. And when he does, there's a bright flash of light. Radford and Aulen are both blinded for just like 3 or 4 seconds. As like, whoa, dazzled, not stunned. And when the light is gone, Aulen wears a small pendant on his neck of that key. It's like a small golden chain, and then that key, a key of frosted iron, rests there, touching Aulen's chest, and you feel the connection to the Rod of 7 Parts. Aulen has successfully attuned to the Rod of Intelligence.
Yes, let's go.
Let's go.
We did it as long as possible.
Not as long as possible, but it was sad that we never guessed 2 right in a row. It was
Technically-
always one after the other.
Technically, we did. Well, I guess we didn't guess. Never mind.
How long was Fox's adventure?
Fox's adventure was like a month and a half.
Yeah.
So we do need to figure out what Fox did next, but we're going to first do Aulen's job interviews, and if we have time, we'll figure out Fox's thing on screen, and if not, we'll do it next week because Jake won't be here, so it'll be a good week to do that.
How long did it take Jeb to attune?
Sounds
took
like
Jeb
Willis
9
says
months.
9 months.
Oh, he'd be proud of you.
I appreciate that. Alan was really hoping for 3 months
Rod
or
of
less.
Intelligence.
But 6 is
speedrun.
fine.
You always need to double your
Yeah.
estimates, Aulen. You know how this goes with any project.
That's true.
Yeah, so Radford and Aulen are in the room. Laredith walks back in. She's got a plate of food for Radford. There's nothing on there for Aulen. It's been 6 months of him not needing any sustenance to stay alive. She comes in and she's like, "You're awake. Did you succeed? Was your venture successful?"
Yes, I believe so. And Alan will kind of gesture with the rod and kind of show the key.
Congratulations! 1 tea, 7 sugars as requested. She sets it down in front of Radford along with whatever he got for lunch.
Thanks, Larry.
She says, "Congratulations! I'm very excited for you to explore all of the possibilities with this new tool. As you do, please be sure to conduct exceptional scientific documentation so that for future subjects who might want to take use of the artifact after your normal and unhurried death, of course, we might have some resource that they may be able to use to avail themselves of the tool that you have discovered."
Yes, I completely agree, especially hopefully in a manner of no longer needing to use it to dispel evil, but instead to build upon the good.
Yes. Speaking of
that it can
evil,
create.
just so you know, it has been 6 months. And we have not been idle in that time. I have set Yathamikanid to finding several very qualified candidates for your venture coming up that you and Radford may interview at your leisure. They are all waiting on standby and have been for several months, I must admit, for you to summon them for an interview. And I'm sure Radford will be able to get you up to speed on all the rest. But for now, you should probably stand up and move around. Although the rod sustains you and keeps you alive, it is likely to have still left you with some level of muscle atrophy.
I think after a day or so of rehabilitation, physical rehab, we will be ready to interview the candidates and waste no more
I'll
time.
spar with you.
Wonderful.
That sounds great.
And so there is a day spent basically recovering from Aulen's time using the rod. Aulen, the rod comes with a number of benefits, which I will send you written out the same way I sent them to Jeb before. But
Cool.
the one that is most important for you right now is that you are able to, while your hand is making contact with the rod, you're able to project a 100-foot weave of magic around you. Like pure, unadulterated, this is
Yeah.
magic. Allowing you, your companions, and your enemies to use magic within its reach.
Yeah.
So that's that piece. And then whenever you're ready to conduct your interviews, I assume Radford is probably the one who's summoning the candidates in. So as you're
I'm
ready,
screening 'em.
Radford, why don't you decide who's coming in? Trevor and Cleo, why don't you tell us the names of the various applicants we'll be meeting?
So should we save the best for last,
I
or
think
are we
so.
going first?
Best for
We're
last.
saving the best for last. Okay. What's your first one then?
My first one is a myconid sent by Groot to named Fern.
Fern the Myconid arrives for his appointment.
So yeah, this one here is Fern. Got a little bit of an inside contact here. Yeah, Fern. So tell us all about yourself.
Oh, hello. I am Fern. What are your names?
I am Aulen. I will be leading this expedition.
Where will we be going?
Well, as I'm sure you have, well, maybe you haven't been informed, we will be going to rescue Do Bumblefoot, one of the avatars of the gods. And Do Bumblefoot is meta question. I'm trying to remember. What's the name of the place that he's at?
Do Bumblefoot? She
Yeah.
is imprisoned in No Wood.
In Nowood, which is a place of adventure and intrigue and kind of a wild area, with less cityscapes and villages and
What are
such.
avatars and gods?
I think you misunderstand the purpose of this interview. Let's keep it on topic. So, what are your specialties? What can you bring to the team?
Well, I have various spore-like abilities. Before magic left the world, I had a lot of magical capabilities.
So nothing now.
Just the spore abilities and a very curious outlook on life.
Well, luckily, as long as we stick together, you will have access to magical abilities when you're within 100 feet of me, or shins of me.
Oh, how?
So, with this,
It's a trade
we don't
secret.
need to go into the
Company
details
secret.
of it. We'll talk more about it on the journey if you come along. But it has been great meeting you, as it was kind of discussed
a list
before.
of the spells I possess?
That's not necessary at this moment. But you spoke a bit about how you have a connection to and to Groot. How did you come to know
Yes.
them?
Well, I was minding my own business in the Underdark with my my colony, my family, if you will. I think that's the word you use. And we ran into some, I don't know what they're called, other creatures, I suppose. And we all ran and hid from them, but we got separated, and so I ended up wandering some tunnels and ended up at the surface. And I stumbled upon Groot, who was very kind and took me in, and he explained a few of the things going on. And he asked me to go deliver a message to his friend, the Myconid. So I traveled very far to get here. And I delivered the message to earlier, and he said to go see if you guys need any help.
We'll call you.
Call? What?
We'll be like, hey,
Oh,
we chose you if we choose you.
okay.
Thank you for your time. Next.
A large, barrel-chested Hematetian walks through. He wears
Wait.
only simply a plain robe, undyed. It is the same color as it was made out of the wool of sheep, and he walks forward into the room. Hello, I'm Gravelos. I hear you're looking for help with finding avatars.
Yes, that is correct. What do you do, Gravelos?
This is kind of embarrassing. You see, I didn't realize what's been going on for a while. I practice meditation on top of one of the nearby mountains, and I haven't been contacted for we'll just call it 5 decades. I was really thought of an interesting question I couldn't find the answer to my meditations, and I thought maybe Do Bumblefoot might know. I met him long ago.
I like his accurate portrayal of time. It's very, very solid.
I can't find them, and there's all these new gadgets and other things going on. The world's changed a lot since the last time I came down the mountain, so I'd like to go find my friend. I miss her. She really needs to answer this question for me.
Radford is kind of tearing up a little bit.
That is quite a noble cause you have. That is great to hear. However, forgive me if I ask again, what do you do as far as, in this situation, we will be going through a perilous journey through ancient ruins and fighting off all sorts of beasts. What do you have any experience doing that?
Well, when I was younger, I used to travel a lot, but I am more proficient in using the weapons that were gifted to me by my creator rather than using any weapon made by mortals. Good old fists, Sorry, I don't like weapons.
Boss. I think we're done. Here.
Well, I mean, if Radford is
I
content
have
with
one
these
very,
applicants,
very
then
important question for you, though.
Go ahead, sir.
This is a make or break sort of a situation. I don't know about the boss, and he's ultimately the boss, but I have been thoroughly impressed up to this point. My question is, he leans in. Can you read Common?
So
I know it's a bit of a challenge.
I
it's
can
important.
read Common from 100 years ago, if it hasn't changed.
in that case, you actually may be even more helpful, as the places we are going are at least 100 years old. So in that case, you're hired.
There are at least a couple more resumes on your desk, I think.
Oh,
there are more.
Two more.
Yeah, we'll do this.
So?
Radford will draw a little star on the resume.
Okay, well then let's bring the next
Thank you
in.
for your time,
Appreciate
Gravelis.
your time. I'm going to, I guess, step outside now. And he walks away. He kind of just lost in thought already.
So next in flies two wheatling creatures. My character will be flying in. Cleo, you fly or walk in?
You don't need to be such a show-off.
What do you mean?
Shut up.
It's
all
quicker
right?
this way.
We're in front of the people now. We gotta talk like proper people.
Yeah, we'll talk on their level. I don't have to strain their necks looking down.
So I think the other ones should be in here pretty soon.
Yes, I think they're coming in now.
Yeah. You see anybody?
Sorry, we're
I saw
down.
the door open.
Sirs, we're down here. Oh,
I'm up here.
I'm down here.
I'm up here.
Yes.
My sister's down there.
Come down a bit. You're too high for them.
You're too low.
You're in the ceiling.
You're too low for them.
I apologize for my brother. Just ignore him, all right? And we came here because we heard your need of help, and we think we can be of assistance.
Can you state your names for the record?
Of course. My name is Riley.
I am Zav Kit O'Leary.
How do you
Kit
spell that?
O'Leary
Can you repeat that?
is our family name. Kit is K-I-T, and then capital O apostrophe, and then L-A-R-R-Y. It's actually pronounced Kit O'Leary, but he pronounces it wrong all the time.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm telling you.
Well,
Mother agreed with me, so I'm right.
Father
Even if Father
agreed
agrees
with me,
with
so
you.
I'm right.
It's irrelevant.
Let's if we may ask, what do you do? What do you bring to this sort of quest?
Well, we heard you're hunting for avatars, and that might help us a little bit, seeing how in the recent years we had lost contact with our patron.
We didn't lose contact, just less contact.
Point being, it's in our best interest to help you, and by helping you, we can help you further. Our patron was
Good friends
Andromeda.
of yours.
Yeah.
You remember Andromeda?
Yes. Yeah, yes. Aulen will kind of like shake his head like, yes,
She
we
told
do.
us to come here to help in our quest. When we lost our contact with our leader, Do Bumblefoot. So we aim to help restore her back to our tribe and hopefully restore magic. Andromeda mentioned something about your whole quest to restore magic. We want to help that too.
He's completely glossing over the fact that the whole reason we're here is actually because of our dead parents, but that's besides the
That's
fact.
too personal. You just don't tell random people your parents
Well,
died.
they need to know that we're listed to the cause, and that we have an emotional investment. We have an emotional investment, and we're listed to the cause.
I am sorry about your parents. That is extremely tragic.
We're trying to figure out what happened.
Wow, that's a lot. If I may, a further question, however, what are your skills? What do you bring to a party like
We're a very
this?
tight-knit team, and we need to make sure that you mesh.
Well, I am an expert archer, and I have lots of spells before the darkening happened, so I used to be able to cast magic.
How
We both.
how big is your bow? Is that an offensive question to ask? Like, is your bow skeleton to your size?
Is it like a hand crossbow?
So we use bows appropriate to our size, and you asked if that was offensive. And while
So you like shoot
particularly
toothpicks? You shoot like
Not-
toothpicks?
Do you want me to shoot you and find out?
Sure.
show 'em, brother.
I pull out a longbow and shoot him with a scaled longbow to my size and arrow to
My
my
AC
size.
is 17.
Alrighty.
This is not how I envisioned this.
You got this, brother.
Consider it a test. Practical skill applications.
There we go. Sorry, let me pull it up.
You mean you weren't prepared for a combat encounter, Trevor? What is going on?
Boop-a-doop-a-doo. You said I got a 24.
24.
Will it be normal damage,
Nice.
Josh?
It
I'm just
probably
checking,
doesn't
but I
matter.
believe so.
Normal damage is what we care about.
Normally.
Yeah, it's normal
Okay.
damage.
Ow.
That's going to be a total of 5 damage. How was that?
Well, you should have aimed a little higher, brother.
I didn't want to kill him.
Just like pulls the arrow out. You know, if you
It would've been
poison
more
these
impressive.
things, that do a lot of damage.
Do you know how to melt poison?
No.
Yes, we could find a way, for sure.
Well,
And what about
point
you?
being,
You said it was Riley, right?
Riley, yes.
Riley. Emphasis on the second syllable. Got it. It's very important.
Very important, just like Kit O'Leary.
I see.
Anyway, I apologize.
But what do you do?
Well, as my brother mentioned, we both practiced magic via our patron before the darkening. But now I have resorted to tracking and more practical support skills, I should say. And in a quick fight, I do know how to use a short sword, or, well, for you it'd be like a little tiny dagger, but to be honest, my combat expertise is without my magic is not going to be very limited. It's going to be very limited. But
Can you take a punch? I'm not going to punch you. That's not part of the interview.
Do you want me to punch her?
I just want to know if you can take a punch.
I can take a punch. It's the second one I'm worried about from people your size.
Fair
But
enough.
generally, I just avoid getting
that is
hit in the
completely
first
fair.
place.
That is fair. Well, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate you coming all this way to talk to us, and yes, we will get back to you shortly.
Come on, brother, let's leave.
Okay, thank
One
you
last
for your
question.
time. Yes.
One last question. Deal breaker question. Have you ever peeled a grape?
I mean, for class once.
I have not.
Okay. Make a little mark on the resume.
The frozen moment in time where both of them were just like, wait, but what did I just do?
Or like, wait, which answer is the deal breaker and which one is the deal clincher?
Brother, why'd you mess up the answer? Now
I didn't mess it up.
never
You
gonna get
messed
this
it up.
job. You messed it up.
Oopsies scrubs.
Shut up.
You shut up.
Are there more resumes
That's what I was just
for
gonna
people?
ask you, yeah. No, is that all the resumes?
I have another one, but I think it would be probably more imperative for unknown meta reasons if perhaps somebody else had a resume.
Okay, so I guess that's all your resumes, I think is what we're
Okay.
hearing.
So it was
Alan
a very long list. These were the top 4 contenders. So we
Yes,
had plenty of time, but I got to weed down a whole lot of them.
This is like their
I-
9th round of interviews still with
Yeah.
Radford. Like each one is with Radford.
I personally am partial to the siblings. Although they seemed to bicker a bit, they seemed very capable. They had the most hard skills that we could discern. They demonstrated them very well. Shooting you with an arrow was a good demonstration of that.
That's true.
And I think that as long as we were able to set clear expectations about the bickering and the sibling rivalry aspects, and that we need to stay on task while we're on our mission, I think that they could work very well. The other 2 candidates were good, but
I'm just going to put this out there.
they just didn't. Yes.
I love Gravelis a lot. Like a lot. Like a whole lot.
I think that Gravelis could find another place here at Four Guys Ventures and Vibes where he would fit if he was interested. However, I don't know if personally I think that Gravelis.
If anybody, I think Fern would
fits on this
probably
mission.
be interested in doing something not along the lines of this adventure. But I feel like
That's
the
true.
rest of them,
Gravelis has specific motivations to specifically come with us.
exactly.
You hear Gravelis from around the
Personally-
corner. Does that mean I didn't get the job? Sorry to eavesdrop. I tend to. It just happens sometimes. I have
One more
very
deal
good
breaker
hearing.
question: are you left-handed?
I have 2 hands. I use them both.
see, Aulen. I mean, it just keeps coming around. I love this guy so much. Can we not hire him and the twins?
We're not
well,
twins.
For
I'm older.
Brother,
reasons that seem
they're done with us. Get out of the way.
Hold on,
Some
sorry, I
sort
left
of,
the window open. Tell me to shut this window.
Alan will shut the window. I don't know if all 3 of them can come on this adventure. I think that in order for maximum efficiency, we need only 4 of us.
Is that the name of the new team? Maximum efficiency? Team me? I like that.
For this mission, sure. If it helps with paperwork on the 4 guys side of things.
I mean, ultimately,
perhaps.
you're the founder. I don't even have stock in the company yet. But
We're not publicly traded yet,
That's
so
right.
that makes sense.
so, I mean, it's really going to come down to you.
I believe my... Oh, sorry, what were you
I
going to say?
have a meta question that may influence your decision.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's a good idea,
It's a great idea.
but seeing how one of us on this show is already in the position of potentially doing it anyway, I would not be adverse to playing 2 characters at the same time.
I think for the flow of the actual
I think it'd be
story, I think it'd be better to have you play one character.
I'm more concerned with you juggling 2 character sheets.
I was gonna
Than
say,
2
if you were the
characters.
kind of D&D player who looked at your character sheets, then I might be on board.
I don't even. What are you talking about? Gravel is over here.
It's like
I don't even have
I
a sheet.
resemble that remark.
I have all that in my head. I'm
Aulen my decision will be the siblings. I think that as far as the skills that they bring to the table, they will be the most useful, and I think it may in some ways be entertaining to have them along, and I don't think that is necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, they got a pretty solid connection to do Bumblefoot too, so that might be.
I agree.
It pains me. I mean, like I said, you're the boss. I'm going to. Okay, I respect your decision. I'm going to go cry in the corner for a while now.
We should. Well, if you wanted to.
No, it's fine.
You seem to have a way with him. If you wanted to talk to him and see if he wanted another spot at 4 guys. Just in the meantime, after since he's not on the mountain anymore, that would I'm sure that could be arranged.
It's perfectly fine. I'm just full of regret that I didn't spend time with him these past 6 months up until this point. So I was kind of holding out. I was like, it's going to be a great little adventure. We get to bond, we like broskies, we trade meditating and tea tips. But, it's chill.
Watch
it's
me like
chill.
Radford would like to use an ocean.
No, but seriously,
and-
as a professor of the chill, it's I think it'll be good. I'm just gonna go cry a little bit. It's all right. You got to get it out. You got to feel your way through it.
Yeah.
Should I
sure.
stop eavesdropping? I'm really sorry. I got really good hearing.
I'm gonna go get some burritos with him. Take care, Aulen. Good luck assembling. I'll let you fill out the paperwork. See you later. Bye.
All right.
oh hello.
And
It's really
so
great burrito spot. Let's go.
and so Radford and Gravelis walk off to get their burritos. Aulen, having his team established, makes some final preparations, whatever. Laredith, sees you off. And so in the future we will begin Aulen's quest. However, there is now one more detail we need to resolve tonight because of how long it took for Aulen to attune to the rod.
Yeah.
And so we zoom out from Gaim and we zoom backwards in time, finding ourselves. It's been a day of driving from away from Stanley's, basically, just trying to get. Yeah, just trying to get out of the city somewhere safe. Bruiser and Gunner are both laying low somewhere, and Fox and Jeb are trying to figure out what to do. Gunner, Fox and Jeb are trying to figure out what to do. This is really the first time that Fox and Jeb have been able to talk at all since everything that they've gone through. And they sit now in the cipher truck that's gone back to its original glory, which is to say that on the side it says 4 guys and
I'm really
Fox and
proud
Jeb
of that
sit
work.
in there. Yeah. And so that's where we find ourselves now.
Man, you can't believe all this stuff we went through, Jeb, just to come and find you. And I'm just glad you're back. I know I've said it multiple times already, but
Yeah, it feels. I don't know. There's a lot going through my mind. I still kind of don't even know what incredible details of what happened. I don't know.
I mean,
Where's my
it's
stuff?
fine.
You have my stuff?
About that,
That doesn't sound like a yes.
I per se don't have it. I believe it's in Game with Aulen at the moment.
Oh. Well, hey, that should be a quick, less than 6-month trip back to Gaim. We could go back there and I could get my stuff and I could reattune to the Rod of Intelligence. That'd be easy peasy.
Well, if you go, I might not accompany you, Jeb.
No, I was just joking, but I mean, I need to get something, but like, what's going on? Like, get me up to speed.
Right. I don't know how to.
Like, what's the next move? Like, Laredith's okay, right? Like, she made it. Right?
Laredith is okay, yeah.
Okay. So that's good. And we're just picking things back up, right? Like,
I
we
don't know
need
how to.
more of the pieces to the rod, and we need more of the, like, we need to find. Dang, I can't remember what are the avatars that we need. It's like do.
I
Is
don't
it
know how
do?
else to say this, but I'm just gonna come out and say it.
I mean, I know you love me, man, and I love you too. And you, like, I'll do my. I know you're gonna say like you don't have to pay me back or whatever. You know, you would have done the same for me, and I feel the same way. But you know, there's like, I'm still gonna try. I'm still gonna. You know, I super appreciate everything you do, and I just think
Zoth
you're
is
really
dead.
fantastic.
He's dead.
Don't play with me, Fox. Not now.
I'm not playing with Jeb. We made it all the way back to Gaim. We got Laredith to safety, and some stupid scout droid things attacked, and they just, one of them managed to gang up on him. I think, honestly, I think one of the rods had something to do with it too. The rod he was holding, and of all the things we've been through, Jeb, and he was taken out by a bucket of bolts. We tried so hard, Jeb,
It's
to bring
my
him
fault.
back.
No, it's my fault. If I was there, it wouldn't have happened. You guys were down a man. It's no, that one's on me.
You know, honestly, I don't think it's your fault, Jeb. I think,
No, I appreciate that, but
listen, if me and Zoth had never gotten mixed up in this, he would have never have touched that rod. The robot dealt the killing blow, but he definitely did not have the wounds to represent the death. Like, it was something to do with that cursed rod. All these rods are just. I don't think I can do this anymore, Jeb. Honestly, I was planning on bringing you back to a place, one of our safe houses, Four Guys, Ventures, and Vibes, and I don't think I can just walk away from this either, but I just can't. I can't with this right now.
Wait. You can't what?
I'm thinking about leaving Four Guys Ventures and Vibes. It's already taken my best friend, my leg. Nearly took you.
You think Four Guys did all that?
No, but I know it wasn't Four Guys. But it's this whole quest we put ourselves on.
Oh, so we put ourselves on this.
I mean, if I had just taken a different route, I would have never met you guys.
Yeah, but you didn't. If I would have said no to Violet, she'd still be alive. If your parents said no to each other, you wouldn't be here. That doesn't solve anything. And I see your anger, and believe me, I share it. But don't point that at us. Don't point that at you.
I just...
You don't shoot yourself for somebody else pulling the trigger.
He shouldn't have been gone, man.
Let me ask you something. You have my eternal gratitude for pulling me out of a very dangerous pit. And I will never not be thankful for you. But do you think for 1 minute that if you go off on your own path, that you'll ever stop thinking about him?
Of course not, man.
Listen, pup. And Jeb, like, scooches up next to him on the little bench seat. He, like, hops off the bench on the opposite side of the table. It sits on the bench that he's sitting on and scooches up next to him. Put my hand on his thigh, just kind of like give him a pat. Listen, pup, listen to me. I know you. We've been traveling together long enough. And when the water gets hot, you want to exit the pot. I've seen it numerous times. When we get to fighting, not you and me, but like when fighting gets to happening, you walk out the room. When stuff gets, like when a battle calms down and everybody's doing their stuff, you got to go take a breather. You know, you leave to give yourself some space. But you can't, and I say this as a man who has experienced this directly. You can't walk away from the death of a loved one. They're with you for the rest of your life. And the only way past it is through it. There is absolutely no walking out of this room, Fox, and I'm sorry.
You know what? Jeb, you're right, and that's...
It sucks, I know.
That's actually why I was thinking about leaving. Because there's... After losing Zoth, and I promised I'd get you back, and I did. I've let some loved ones go to the wayside, and I'm just now realizing that even though we may be at the center of this quest, that doesn't mean they're untouched. Jeb, I need to go. Maybe I'm not leaving Four Guys. I think you're right. I don't know. All right, but I need to go find my parents, okay?
I called dibs on your stock options if you leave.
Shoulder Angel Aulen says, "We're not publicly traded yet."
That means with Zoth gone and you gone, I'll be the majority shareholder. All joking aside, what's going on with your parents?
I don't know why I didn't really think of it before, but I'm just now realizing with the dreams we had when we first started this, mixed in with the letters and stuff I gotten originally from my parents all the way at the beginning, I never stopped to think that they could have potentially been a part of this.
Kids not thinking about their parents? That's weird. That's a really odd thing that never happens ever. Glad you're coming around to that. No, I'm adding a little fun. I do remember you getting that letter. If I recall, it was actually my letter.
I'm just
okay.
You know how I am about my name.
Well, I'm going to tell you now, pup. I want to come with you. I don't. Every time we've split up, bad things have happened. Every time. I don't think there's been a time that we've split up and we were like, oh, wow, I'm so glad I did that. That was like the best thing. We should do that more. It's always like, hey, this is terrible. We all almost died. Let's never do that again. And then a week later, we're like, oh, but I'm going to go over do this thing. And you're going to...
Yeah, I guess you're right, Jeb. You know, I never really thought about it.
Well, that's the problem, is we never really think about that. And that's not on you. I'm saying, like, that's on me. But, see, here's the thing. Just because you leave the company, or don't, and you go and do this thing yourself, that's not going to take the target off your back. And you got a big, fat target on your back.
You calling me fat, Jeb? Sorry.
No, but I can if it helps.
All right. Well, I promised myself, after losing Zoth, that I wouldn't stand by the wayside and lose anybody else. That's why I came for you, and that's why I'm going for my parents.
Well, okay. Well, let's think about something real quick, though. Do you have a lead?
I mean,
this isn't a challenge. This is just like,
technically, I do. It's just all the leads are so
what's your
old.
lead?
Well, admittedly, I was just gonna head back to the hometown.
Okay, is that on the way or away? Like, where's the hometown?
It would have been fairly close to where we first met. So it'd been.
Oh wow! So we scooped you up like right out the nest.
Well, we had taken a long and detour. We didn't beeline straight to when we met you. We had been traveling around, me and Zoth, and.
So is this or is this not on the way to Gaim?
It is not.
So
DM,
where
you can
is
correct
this
me
now?
if I'm wrong.
Where is it? What's the name of the
It
place?
is on the other side of the Aspen Sea. It's the opposite direction of Gaim.
Okay.
Right. It's near the Acid Corridor, south of the Acid Corridor, right?
Yeah.
Yes, just south of the Acid Corridor.
Oh, yeah, that's near Athamont. That's
It's a ways.
Yeah, I don't like it over there. Okay, well,
It's not, to be clear, it's not in Athamont. It's the
Right,
other
yeah.
side of that sea next to Athamont,
Yeah,
west
yeah.
of there.
We would, well,
so here's the thing. 4 guys plan. We've got a Dober egg load of rods
Yes.
here.
we need to do
And-
something about that.
That is not safe by any stretch of the imagination. I was thinking the safest place would probably be like at the Kingdom of Udril. Unless you can think of another safe place where we've got like connections with some very high up people. I mean, there's the headquarters at Gimes. I know that, set up a thing there. But I don't know anything about that place.
Honestly, I trust Udril more than Gaim, especially after I saw how easily they were penetrated.
But here's the thing. If you leave and you do this thing, then that means it's going to be on me and probably you, FP, right? You're still in the company? Oh, yes, absolutely. Is that Gunner guy and Bruiser, like, are they still part of the company?
I believe so, yes.
I say off in the distance, you hear Gunner. You remember Gunner saying something like, "I mean, I consider myself a freelancer, but I loved working with you and would love to work with you again."
Yeah, cool.
Bruiser's
Here's
next
the
to
thing is, I
Alan,
don't
just
have-
giving a thumbs up.
So here's the thing. I can't cast magic. Even if we were underground, I didn't even look into why it worked way back then, but I don't even have my blunderbuss. I am... Fox, I hate to say it, but right now, I am a humble woodcutter. I
Well,
am very, very limited in what I am able to do.
okay.
But we
All
got
right,
a crap ton of rods, and none of them are in any shape of, like, my expertise.
I have a plan. All right.
That's good.
I'm just gonna say it, and I'm gonna tell you right now. After everything I just thought about, and I'm not 100% on board with it, but it's just problem solving Fox time, and I think it's the only one that's realistically gonna work, even though I don't like it. And what if? All right, I hold on to one of the rods.
Okay.
And maybe we can have FP and them take the other two to Udril. And then we take the cart. But you need your blunderbuss and shells. You need your stuff. God. I guess.
Are you sure you didn't bring my stuff? I know you're pretty terrible about checking your pack. Did you like put my stuff in there?
Let me check.
Dig around the bottom. I know you keep like weird little zipper pockets on the inside and stuff. You still got those rations with no dessert?
Hey, listen. The dessert was
that's a
very
guess.
good.
Got him. FP, let me tell you, this guy, he goes through all of his rations. Like, we'll go to town, buy a ton of rations for a big trip. He'll go through all of them, pop the tops off, gobble the desserts out, and just leave them like with the lids half snapped on. It's crazy. That is entirely ridiculous, but I don't eat, so I guess that seems like appropriate behavior. But anyway, so if you can attune to one of these rods, then I might be able to cobble something together as some sort of something that would. But we need to like figure out what our game plan is going forward, because Josh is getting really sleepy and he's got a flight tomorrow.
All right.
But that means that we're going together.
How about this? Maybe we can get FP here to get in contact with Four Guys. We learned, by the way, Scale and Sons is compromised.
Oh, snap.
So-
That's not good.
Any kind of message we send has to be coded or through another means.
Oh. Like birthday cake.
Yes, like birthday cake.
Send a birthday cake with a message in
If
it.
we can maybe get a cry to get the message directly.
Okay.
If we can meet up with a cry, we send a message through Scale and Sons using one of the names I've used before in letters. Hopefully that should stay under the radar as long as we don't mention anything about Four Guys Ventures and Vibes or about any one of us by name. If we can just get a hold of a cry, tell him to meet us somewhere, and then maybe he can handle forwarding information to Four Guys. Maybe we can kind of set up our own little supply network. You know what I'm saying? Because
Okay.
it's going to be a lot more limited than Scale and Sons, but with Scale and Sons like this, we can't send sensitive stuff through the mail, you know? Letters, information, the rods, none of that. So we're going to have to find another way, and I think maybe I think going to Geim's too far of a detour. I think we go.
I really wish I had my rod and my stuff.
Maybe we can get it mailed to us by Wyvern? Four
Okay,
Guys has
so-
Wyverns.
All right. Well, I think that it is high priority for me to do whatever I can to ensure that the rods go to Udril. Well, but see, Laredith's not there. Dang it. I really hate that Geim was compromised.
DM,
Is
can I have a reference to how far Udril and Geim are from us and a general
Udril's
direction?
a long ways away.
Yeah.
you are at you're basically halfway up through. Let me see if the map is
I've got
is
it.
in here still. I don't think it's in my current stream overlay. Let me see if I've got one in the library. I can quick drop on the screen
There you
here.
go. I posted a link for you.
Well, I would need to
No, I was talking
capture it in here as well.
in
Got it.
Discord. There's a thing over here.
Yay. Let's see here.
Man, I really got to use the bathroom out of character.
We don't seem like we have the map. Okay, I'm just going to talk about it because
Okay.
I don't have it built in here. You are in the Cavorite Mountains, which are dead center in the continent of Urida.
Right.
You are about halfway north through them. You're like in the Nebraska of Urida right now. And
Okay.
about 90 miles north of you, so like probably 3 days journey in the Cypher truck, maybe 4 because it's mountainous terrain, is the base of that mountain range, which would put you in reach of Floodana. Floodana borders the end of the Cavorite Mountains and then stretches out a long way from there. So that's about 3 days travel up. To get to
Okay.
Geim, you're looking at about a month's travel to your right, to the east. You have to leave the Cavorite Mountains, cross some plains, go into another mountain range, and that's where Geim is.
How long you said?
Probably about a month.
Okay.
Of doing that.
All right.
And then to your left, if you're trying to get to where Zoth grew up, you need to go through the human nation of Aspesh, which would probably take 2 or 3 weeks, and then get to the other side of the Aspen Sea, which you could do by water, because I believe your Cypher truck was designed to either drive over the water or drive under it, one of those two.
Yes.
So you can go through the water because it would be moving a little bit slower because of water resistance, whatever, call that another 2 or 3 days to get to the other side of that sea. And maybe a week. I don't remember exactly how big that sea is, but you get to the other side of the sea, and the little like nomadic village area and Fox's commune border that sea on the other side. So you would be there in probably about a month.
Okay.
But it's a month the opposite direction of Geim.
How about
if you went north to Udril, it would still be about a month. So like you could
we're a
do
month
the
out
same,
from everything except for 3 months towards Geim.
Yeah, pretty much. No, you're like a week from Fladena.
Well, Fladena,
a couple
yeah.
days from Fladena. And then from Fladena, you're right next to Udril, so you could get in there in another week. So like 2 weeks from Udril, 1 week from Fladena if you wanted to meet up with Clara Albuquerque.
I was about to literally just say,
Yep.
we meet up with Clara, and maybe we can set up some sort of deal with her.
Chat makes a great point that last time you were able to connect with the Black Song smugglers.
Yeah,
in
I was thinking the
Clara's,
Black Songs too.
in Clara's bar.
I forgot about them. Then yeah, no, I think maybe Fladena is where we head to. And we can try to, I think once we get some information about what we have available to us, I think we can figure out more from there.
Okay, so that means you're not splitting up for now.
Oh, I don't know, Jeb, but
Because here's the thing, Pup. I need you. Like I said, I can't do anything right now.
how about this, Jeb? Help me go find my parents, and I'll stick this one through.
You
I
know
mean,
what?
I'm already...
You know what, Fox? I am a strategist, and there are more times than not that me and Aulen have out-argued every plan that you come up with. I'll go with you. We're going to prioritize you and your parents.
Okay. Okay.
We can do some stuff to stash and hide the rods here in the cart, and maybe we could get you and you said FP could potentially attune to one of these. That'll get us some magic. It's going to take us, you said, like a month or so to get there. So maybe in the meantime, I can try to go off of memory and maybe try to make another blunder. I don't know. We'll
Jeb
that's
does
some
have
time
a
to
spell
figure it
book.
out. Yeah, I still got
He
my
does
book.
have a spell book.
Well, my backup. But yeah, maybe we could work with that. But you know what? You're right.
Okay. Then let's do this.
As you guys come to this conclusion, you hear a frantic knocking at the door, or at the back of the cart.
Hup.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, come
I
in.
pop my head out the bottom hatch and look.
Outside is Gunner, and he looks like you guys dropped him off a while ago, but it looks like he's been trying to catch up with you guys.
Hey,
Bruiser went with him.
Hello. I just thought you guys would want to know. I heard through the grapevine. You know how we exploded that tower?
I mean, I didn't.
That's
but
gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. Yes. One of those things that you guys are after, that's been causing all these problems. Apparently,
Yeah.
one of them was in there, and it's dead.
What?
And on that note, tonight's Dungeons and Dragons session comes to a close. Thanks for hanging out, chat. And players, great job, especially Cleo and Wash for being in multiple scenarios. Cleo's suffering right now, and I might just be dragging this on to make it continue. I'm just kidding. We're going to go now. From all of us here at the Wing Badger Tavern, GG's and GN. Goodbye.
Good night.